Please welcome to the show, Dan Geltrude. Dan, I think, I can see, well, you said off air, the best line ever is he keeps giving his detractors more ammunition. But we can't have a number as important as non-farm jobs be as erratic as it's been for the last 5 years, since I'm going to say since COVID started for sure.
Exactly. Look, in my opinion, someone needed to be fired based upon the constant revisions of these numbers. I mean, there's a lot of reliance that's placed upon the accuracy of these numbers. So to me, good or bad job numbers, not the issue, Scott. It's not the issue. The issue here is that you have important decisions being made that they're being based upon inaccurate information. Now, whether it's Donald Trump or any organizational leader should not have to tolerate that, right? You have to have accurate numbers in every organization in which to make decisions. And to me, based upon what's going on, has been going on for a long time, Scott, this was a welcome move by the president.
And, you know, the BLS, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, they're not only in charge of that number, they do a lot of other numbers too. And to your point, if you're going to be making decisions on hiring or maybe how strong the consumer is or what the job market looks like the Fed is probably looking at these numbers too. No, not probably, for sure they're looking at these numbers. When you have the volatility of these numbers with these revisions, look at how many times they were revised under Biden month on month and now under Trump. Obviously, those last 2 months taking out over 250,000 jobs in one fell swoop when we're only really printing 100,000 on average per month. You know, I just can't imagine being in charge of that group of people, whatever, that division of the government, and not having an explanation. I mean, I think any normal, rational person that runs a business, if those numbers hit my desk, I go, whoa. Either we got to redo these or I need to find out what's going on here. But there's never any question of accountability there. It's like, oh, here are the numbers and we'll revise them later.
Right. And that's the problem. What we're being told by the mainstream media here is that, hey, listen, this is standard operating procedures. Numbers are always going to be adjusted. They always happen to be going down. So how much can we rely on any of this stuff? Look, the president should be able to decide who works for him or her, period. So it doesn't matter that somebody in this position was appointed by Biden. Of course, Trump becomes his own worst enemy in some cases by saying it's rigged and, he goes down that path when he doesn't have to. All he really has to say is I need to be able to rely upon data. And if I can't rely upon that data, nor can the Federal Reserve rely upon this data, then look, we're flying blind here. That's unacceptable. This is not about Trump being an authoritarian. Maybe he is, but in this particular case, It was warranted for him to make this type of decision.
The lack of common sense, though, is mind-boggling for me, because I loved what Kevin Hassett had to say about it. When he was asked about it on Meet the Press yesterday morning, his answer was, if I would have had a revision that big, the biggest one since 1968, by the way, there would have had to have been a stack of papers, a report that would be explaining why that happened. You just don't shrug your shoulder and say that's what it is. Because we know that since COVID, since 2020, this is a survey, right? And the survey has been, they're only getting 35%, maybe at the most 40% of the surveys back. And we're making big decisions on the back of the fact that we're only getting 35% of the information out there. And that's why I think a lot of these things get revised. So, I mean, you know what? It's broken, and they need to start over, and they need to do it right, because everybody watches that non-farm number. The Fed watches it. We want to see how strong the jobs market is. We've got some of these things like cattle prices at all-time record highs. Can the consumers continue to afford that food? Well, as long as they have a job. Well, we don't know if they've got a job or not now. I mean, so many knock-on effects like that. And by the way, had they been as bad as they said they were when they revised them, maybe Powell would have cut rates 2 months ago. I mean, there's so many things, so many knock-on effects of this thing that these people sometimes I don't think they get.
You're exactly right, particularly as it pertains to interest rates, because that's what everybody's been talking about, Scott, right? And especially President Trump. I mean, he has been nonstop on Jerome Powell not making the right decision and how we need to lower interest rates. But now there's actually data that starts to support that, and the Fed is supposed to be data-driven. So if they have bad data, how are they making the correct decisions? And the answer is that they're not. So we may very well finally see interest rates start to come down based upon what we think the revised numbers are,
well,
assuming that they're accurate.
Right. I mean, who knows what? I don't know if you know David Nelson. He's on the show every now and again. He's fantastic. So I'm going to steal his line because he sent me some research this morning. I haven't had a chance to read it, but I definitely am going to read it just because the name is so good. But he named it Garbage In, Trillions Out. And I think that's perfect, right? I mean, because that's what we're looking at now.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, look, it is broke. And it needs to be fixed. And the only way you fix these things is you have to get some fresh eyeballs in there, people with some different ideas, want to clean up the mess, people who are really passionate about doing their jobs right. This should not be political. In spite of what President Trump has said and the allegations he's made, put that aside. This is black and white. This is math. This is numbers. There is no well, maybe. No. What is the number? How did you get there? Done.
Right. I mean, it's your personal, accountability. I mean, I just can't imagine having that hit my desk and go, I'm just going to pass these on to be announced. I would be like, what is going on here? Anyway, that's just me. Thanks for being on, Dan. Always great to kick off a Monday with you. Dan Geltrude coming to us from Nutley, New Jersey. He's America's accountant. Thanks for being on. All right, let's take a look at these markets.